Hey everybody, it's Raider. We are back and on the Atlanta Black Star site here today talking about Watchmen on HBO. Now, I don't have HBO, but we're going to be looking at what other people say about HBO. So on here, Atlanta Black Star. Woke garbage. Fanboys don't like HBO's Watchmen because it deals with with race and white supremacy. Okay. A lot of people who say they're original fans of the comic book series Watchmen don't like HBO's version, which stars Regina King, because it deals with race and white supremacy so far. Yeah. You know what else deals with race and white supremacy? Supergirl has done it. Let's see. Pick a franchise. Okay. What do we have to go to? I mean, we've seen this whole concept of woke. Woke encompasses all of this, everything that's in this and other things that you wouldn't even have. You got Star Wars has gone woke. Ghostbusters has went woke. Supergirl has gone woke. Flash has gone woke. Those are just the ones off the top of my head. I mean, I could probably go even further. Oh, Star Trek has gone woke now too. Nobody cares anymore. I don't remember if I said this in a video a while back, but there was actually, I was talking about a point in the Renaissance where the artists back during the Renaissance period finally got tired of painting beautiful people because that's all that would come in. They had these beautiful, gorgeous models all the time that were the primary point of exceptionalism. And what would happen is they finally got tired of doing that, just painting beautiful people all the time. They got sick of looking at them. And so they turned around and they were like, bring me a fat chick. Bring me a blubberly lard whale. And so then they would do nude pictures of blubbery fat women. And those paintings are very impressive. But the problem that we have here with Watchmen is that that's what Watchmen was. It was the blubberly fat woman in comic books. Because everyone had, all these ideal superheroes. And it was new and different because... And the thing about Watchmen is, if you ask fans about it, fans will tell you that they like Watchmen, they love it as a story, but they hate since it's been brought out. Because since it's happened, because Watchmen basically, and this is the thing that people don't realize, there's a lot of people that say, well, some people don't know that Rorschach's a bad guy. Guess what? Every single superhero in that book was a bad guy, to some extent. The entire premises of the comic book was a deconstruction of the superhero mythos. And what would actually happen. Sort of a reality-grounded possibility of what was going to happen, deconstructing all the superheroes. A guy who's the smartest man in the world is trying to bring about world peace by instigating a mass disaster and blaming it on one of his former superhero friends. Rorschach is going around just beating the hell out of people and trying to force information out of them. The comedian, you find out he's a rapist and God knows, and a wife beater and everything else, even though he's supposed to be the funny man of the group. It's basically The Boys kind of toned down to some extent, if you want to go that route. The difference is, instead of being a deconstruction of how bad superheroes could become, it's sort of a deconstruction of the actual effects of superpowered people. Even Dr. Manhattan's considered one of the most powerful heroes on the planet, and because of his presence, I think we end up I can't remember if we win Vietnam and North Korea. They go completely differently. It changes the entire landscape, and Russia is now on the defensive because of Dr. Manhattan and threatening nuclear war. Because they're just going to destroy the planet, and it's their only hope to beating Dr. Manhattan is hitting with everything they got, which wouldn't actually have any effect. You find out later it has zero effect on Dr. Manhattan at all, because he's pretty much immortal, lives in multiple different planes of time. can pretty much do whatever he wants with the universe. Okay, in the comic book, he brings his lover to Mars and kind of forgets that she needs to breathe, and so he just changes the rules of Mars so she can breathe on Mars. It's just like reality-altering powers. The thing is, that was the ugly fat chick in the superhero, where we had idealized heroes such as, you know, Superman and Batman. Marvel is kind of a point to this. It's more realistic superheroes, whereas Batman and Superman, you know, they're like guys with superpowers who do super things all the time. Peter Parker was more relatable because he had internal issues he had to deal with a lot. And until DC went that route, they had just produced sort of like cheesy adventure stories to an effect, which are fun to read. I mean, I like cheesy adventure stories like the next person. But Watchmen was, as I said, it was the ugly fat chick in a sea of beautiful people. And the reason a lot of diehard fans, myself included, don't like its existence to some extent is because, just like with what Marvel did to DC, which was, you know, give some more internal strife with the characters, it also created a deconstruction of those characters. So now you have movies where they're trying to deconstruct Batman, they're trying to deconstruct Superman. DC did a version of this where they deconstructed all the DC superheroes. And, oh man, I was like, man, this ain't Superman, it's not Wonder Woman. Come on now. These people are supposed to be examples. That's what people tend to forget. But the thing is, people are now... The funny thing is, the idea of racism is now the beautiful chick. Okay? Putting racism, sexism, homophobia, and trying to address it in your show, it's now the beautiful chick of the world of entertainment. We've seen it so much and so often that the story is not intriguing anymore. Stories like racism and stuff was, you know, it was intriguing to an extent. I mean, some of my favorite action movies ended up throwing Nazis in there at some point in time. I think American Ninja 4, Joe Armstrong and the fake American Ninja, they end up having to fight. Joe Armstrong has to go save the fake American Ninja who gets himself captured. And he's got to go in there and save him from a corrupt British police officer, a Muslim extremist with his army of Muslim ninjas, and a Nazi. I mean, it's like, hey, yeah, you know, just about everything you could hate in the world is the bad guy. And you got like the coolest ninja in most of cinema. He's like one of the, Michael Dudikoff's character, Joe Armstrong, is one of the coolest ninjas. He's basically a white dude who's been raised to be Japanese, loses his memory, but still has the muscle memory of a ninja. That's all it's an awesome movie. You've got to watch the original American Ninja series. But with this, you have people hitting a point where they're tired of it. They've reached a point where they don't want to see this crap anymore because we've seen it 100 times. We're going to see, you know, black people fighting racist stereotypes. Okay, we see that in how many movies? You see it in you see feminism in Supergirl, in the 2016 Ghostbusters. You're seeing woke culture in Star Wars, Star Trek. You know, you just name a franchise. It's now Terminator's going that way with representation. We're just sick and tired of it. You know, we if you're going to put racism in there, commit to the bit. Okay? Otherwise, we don't want to see it. We don't want to see this softcore nonsense that everyone wants to push out there. It's being pushed, and you know, the stupid part is this: the people that are pushing the racism narrative inside of movies, you know, where we got to talk about racism. They're the group of individuals who have problems saying the N-word. Okay? Go watch a Quentin Tarantino movie. He does racist characters way better than you do because he commits to the bit, and they say the freaking N-word. They finally get mad. They're like, "You effing N-word! I don't like all these effing N-words out here." They will not commit to the bit, you know, really make him bad. Otherwise, it's like a dude. What racist is sitting out there saying, "Well, I'm afraid of all these people of color"? It's like, come on, man. That's not how a racist works. They think they're in the right all the time. You don't commit to it. But I mean, let's look down here at what they pull up. Down here. Besides white supremacy being addressed in the series, there's also a scene where King's character gets some racist treatment from a child at her son's school on career day. And all of that was just too much for some viewers. No, it's probably the fact of, if that happened, I guarantee you how that scene probably went down. That kid said that stuff and nothing happened to him. When in reality, the kid would be expelled from school and his parents would be told would be harassed out of town because of what this kid had said. You don't believe me? Look at the Michael Brown case. Police officer was called racist, said he killed the black guy, said he killed Michael Brown because he was black, and that Darren Wilson was white. And in the end, Darren Wilson was found by forensic evidence to not have done anything, and he still run out of Ferguson and still had to leave his job. I don't think he's doing police work ever again. I could be wrong on that. But I mean, in reality, we've seen this play out in reality, and Hollywood probably does this. Oh yeah, this kid just says it and walks off. No, it doesn't happen. So what does the viewers say? Show is boring and trite. They tried to turn a great comic into a woke fantasy, wrote someone on Metacritic. This is not a troll. People are trying to help you here. Okay? The truth hurts. If this bothers you, then it's probably the truth. Did they really have to choose the Watchmen franchise to make just another modern propaganda piece? Another person asked. This show has nothing to do with the original comic or movie. The original was not about race or gender. Yes, the original was about deconstructing superheroes and how they would actually have had a realistic effect on the world. The real world implications of having superpowered or having superheroes in your world. Nothing to do with race or anything. I think they might have hinted at white supremacy at some point, but it was never the theme of the show. Like this is apparently going. I think Rorschach there's a bunch of guys in Rorschach masks supposed to be the new KKK. Just put the fucking KKK on there and be done with it. I mean, my God, commit to the bit. This is just another propaganda TV show. Like Supergirl. Like The Flash. By the way, Flash is propaganda because now he's getting his ass kicked by his daughter. The last episode I watched was with a girl who had a Meditech smartphone that could make people do what she wanted. And in there, Barry Allen did almost nothing heroic. Now, one thing, I don't think he saved a single person. The only thing that happened to Barry Allen was he ran to Vegas and his daughter ended up saving the people. And then the next scene where he's using his powers, he gets his ass kicked by his daughter and has to be saved by Iris West. Women are better than men nonsense. Boy. They turn Watchmen into another nonsensical story about genders and racism that has nothing to do with the original comics. Yes, indeed. A third person commented, just another piece that tries to bait viewers and drive a wedge into society. Let's just have a good show. You know what's a good show you should watch? The Rookie. The Rookie is a good show. Racism is hinted at. Sexism is hinted at. But most of the time, the chicks are genuinely badass. The men are genuinely badass. There's actually a scene where one of the female police officers who's a rookie ends up getting attacked. And she's got to fight this dude off. And she uses some damn underhanded tactics. And I'm like, yes, that's how you get away from a bad guy. She don't kick his ass and throw him into walls. She basically out-furies him pretty much. Just beats the guy down with she just hammers him several times with a nightstick because she's got to use a weapon to beat him off. There are instances where the officers are in like really dangerous situations. The one situation where it looked like it was going crazy, the female police officer ended up getting shot and killed. She was his CO. She comes out of there. She's an actual Army. She's done I think she's a Marine. I'm not sure. She's Army or Marine. She's Army or Navy, one. She gets out of this. They throw her into a pool. She gets out because she's got military background and training. She still ends up getting shot because at the end of the day, skills are one thing, but having a weapon is another thing. And it deals with some really real world. It deals with some real world strife and problems. Okay, one of the guys who's a young black man has to get over his fear of shooting someone. He's afraid to pull the trigger. And so there's a part in the season where he's got to get over being afraid to pull the trigger. Nathan Fallon's character is a 40-year-old rookie. his boss hates him because he thinks he's a guy going through a midlife crisis, so he's become a police officer. It's a pretty good premises for a show, I'm not going to lie. But it doesn't push the woke narrative. You're not seeing lesbians everywhere. The chicks are realistically badass. They're sassy. And they're realistic in their fighting. They're realistic in how they deal with a situation. You don't have these chicks jumping up there, whooping the crap out of everyone. There's actually a scene in one of the newer episodes. They've added a new partner to Nathan Fallon's character. And in one scene, she's carrying the AR-15. That is realistic because for a woman, an AR-15 is actually easier for a person to fire than it is for them to fire a handgun. So she's using an AR-15 over the 12-gauge shotgun, which has enough kick to throw you back, which can kick you back. And by the way, the 12-gauge shotgun is heavier unloaded than an AR-15 is unloaded. Okay? It's a very, very realistic show. The characters have very real conflict that they're trying to get through a lot. And it's good. There's no, oh, look, this person's homosexual. Look, this person's woman. Look, this person's black. You don't care. You care about the black kid because he's got a realistic fear. There is a realistic fear to, oh my God, I'm going to take somebody's life. That does seize a man up. Even on a battlefield, it'll seize a man up. It's a statistical fact. Some guys will seize up on a battlefield. That's why they put people through intense combat training to try and break them of that before they hit the battlefield, and they don't seize up on the field and not shoot somebody. You've got two chicks in there that are trying to compete for chief position. You've got a police chief that doesn't like the one guy, and you got a 40-year-old rookie who, he's doing this because he wants to be a good guy, because he wants to help people, because it's just a good show. Watch The Rookie. It's good. It's probably Nathan's best work. I love what he's doing in that. I could be getting his name wrong too. I don't know. Anyway, woke garbage that wine ants and affluent liberals will pleasure themselves to, another person stated. Yeah, that's the last one. And that's about the end of the article here. They don't talk about this anymore. But I have to say, like I said, now Hollywood's they're giving us too much of this racism stuff, of this anti-racism, anti-sexist, anti-homophobe nonsense that just berates you, constantly punching you in the face every time there's not an action scene going on, and many times during the action scenes. And we've reached a point where we're like, we just want to see some straight white males giving it to some straight white women, or a sexy Asian every so often. Like back when we had in the 90s. Okay? Mind you, here's the thing. If the 90s were so bad, how the fuck did we have Sammo Law? Okay? Sammo Law in USA, which was about an Asian guy, an Asian police officer, and his black partner. Who were both martial arts. By the way, Sammo Law in there was a fat dude, and everyone said there's no way a fat Chinese guy could move that fast. All right, the dude took his coat one time and turned a cactus into some kind of lethal weapon with his coat. It was hilarious. Show was awesome. Sammo Law was awesome. It was called Martial Law, is what the whole show was called. And he even teamed up with Chuck Norris in 2 episodes. He showed up in a Chuck Norris episode in Walker, Texas Ranger, and Walker, Texas Ranger showed up and helped him out. And they were like, it was like, Dude, you got two of TV's best badasses right here, and just it was awesome. The 90s were way better than things are nowadays. But anyway, tell me what you think. I kind of went a little long on this one, I think. I hope not too long. I'll know when I get the video done. But as usual, like, subscribe, hit me with a comment. Tell me what you think about Watchmen. Is it woke propaganda, or did you like the show? And if you do like the show, tell us why you like the show. Anyway, I'm The Last Raider. Keep your head on a swivel, stay frosty, and I'll see you guys next time.